Wait, so you're saying the 5G chip got pumped in you, and you've been a little under the weather there, Murr?
Yeah, dude. Monday about 5:00. Bill Gates injected me with his disease and filth, and it took about. I was kind of tired. I was a little tired around 9:00, and then I got up for work the next day. I was like, come on, don't be a pussy. You can go to work. You're fine. So then about 8:00 rolled around. Like, I don't feel so good. And then about 2:00, that's when, okay, I don't remember which Mission Impossible it is, but it's the one where
we got 7 of them.
Carrie Russell. Who's the chick with the curly hair that played Felicity? You know what I'm talking about? Carrie Russell.
That is Carrie Russell.
Okay. Remember how they put that little that little thing in her head that exploded, and then all of a sudden, like, her one eye just goes wonky and she's dead? That's what it felt like around 3:00 in the afternoon until about 1 a.m. the next day, and then I just I don't know. I slept for like 12 hours, and that's fine, I think.
Where did the
microchip
microchip rumor come from? Where did this idea that, like, is it just like anti-vacciners started saying, hey, when they pump you full of this shit, you get the government then gets a tracking device implanted in you, and it knows everywhere you go, every step. It's basically like a
this
whatever like a one. I was going to say Wonder Years theme. What's the
a police song?
No, what's the Dave Coulier / Bob Saget
Full House?
Full House, like everywhere you look.
God damn it!
The one to hold on to. Now this might be a good Q report breakdown, but now I'll give you the baseball card version, the back of the baseball card. So, once Bill Gates became at one point, Bill Gates was making $32,000 a second. And I think as soon as he left Microsoft, he and Melinda, the wife, started that Bill Gates Foundation. And then they decided they were going to start jacking kids in Africa because there's no rules there. And they were going to start pumping them full of all sorts of vaccines, which does seem like a good thing. But they were under no rules or regulations, and they were kind of just under their own umbrella of doing what the fuck they want. And apparently some of these vaccines were maybe a little stronger than they should have been, and whatever they were vaccinating these kids for were actually getting the disease, the illness.
Ooh.
And then Bill Gates did some TED Talk where it was a bad grab bag of topics, because I think at some point he talked about overpopulation, eugenics, and vaccination all in the same 3-hour window. And then he got into the vaccine game even stronger. And then here we are, him talking about vaccines. Everybody should get them. The world's overpopulated. So long dental plan. So that's the ballpark version.
I think that's... I mean, I haven't done full research on this, but because I've touched all pieces of the Q report, I'm going to say that there is a lot of incorrect information in there. But there are pieces of it that all kind of touch each other, but not really. Not the way that you said them.
Right.
But Bill Gates has Bill and his wife. I think mainly his wife, and with Bill's money, have always donated to vaccine research in various forms around the world. And so it just became, like you said, he had this TED Talk and started talking about shit. And then I think a lot of people also, not necessarily that you're getting the 5G chip or whatever, but that 5G networks being built around the country as new networks are built, causes coronavirus, and that these vaccines could potentially, with the 5G signal, be activating something within us, to something. I don't know. I'm not that crazy.
Like the 5G turns on the super soldier serum. So we're all vaccinated, quote unquote. We're all given the, the cure, but then all of a sudden the 5G networks turn on and it turns the cure into the sickness.
And then we turn into zombies.
And then Bulls on Parade turns on. And we all go. What's it?
What
is it? Down with the Sickness? What is that?
Turn into I Am Legend,
Yeah.
and then Will Smith and some Latin lady live with a German Shepherd, and then they save the rest of humanity.
So does this also have to do when you said overpopulation? Because all right, my mother called me about 4 or 5 days after I got my first shot, and I said, "Yep, I got pumped full. I got the microchip put in me. I'm on the radar." My mom says, "And you're sterile." Is that part of it too?
Yeah, it's anything.
Some people think that, yes.
Anything your mind can conceive of is the truth. Okay, and
Right.
it's your truth. It's their truth. It's the Q truth. Okay, so
If it's on the
like
internet,
Alan
it's
said,
true. Yeah.
well, like Alan said, I had a bunch of rumored facts, and they didn't connect, but they don't need to.
Right.
But he
None of
said them
do
with
anyway.
such panache that, like, if he had a fucking like ox head on and he was shirtless and he was holding a spear, fucking people would have believed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we call that in the debunking community. All right, just this is a vocab word for the day. We call that a gish gallop. You guys familiar with that?
A gish gallop. No, please define.
A gish gallop typically either that's someone who is making a claim or rebutting something that someone from my side of the fence said, where basically they just throw out. You try to keep it very specific, okay? One point, and you just say, "Well, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that?" Pop, 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 pop. Or a very similar term would be whack-a-mole. So you just you're just bopping around from point to point with no real, nothing real specific. Just 1,000 points. You're gonna throw one at the wall, see what sticks, and if you can't debunk all of these points, just by sheer argument's sake, I'm right. Gish gallop.
Gotcha. I like that.
Yeah.
I do think I'd be good at this because what I do try to do,
Right?
when I am gish galloping, is I do try to create a linear timeline of nonsense. So it sounds like, well, first he did this, and then he did this, and then he did that, even though I have no idea when he did any of these things. Yeah, I'm just saying stuff, but if I say it like, well, first, second, third, and fourth, that, man.
Yeah.
All right.
And then
I
if you
put them in order.
if you try to then go back and what I like to do is I like to pull that quote out, especially if it's on YouTube, and then quote it. Like I copy, paste, quote, dash, da 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 da. A very strong rebuttal is like you're not listening. You're not listen. The chronological order of which you're like bantering on about is irrelevant. You're not. You have a microchip in you. You're part of the system now, buddy.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with that fucking computer in your pocket.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this then, Wes. Will you have to deny getting the vaccine in order to hold court on all of your arguments moving forward now? Like, would you have to now lie in order to... Because I feel like the communities, whatever you want to call them, the truther community out there
Truther.
is going to instantly go like, wait. Did you get the vaccine? And then as soon as you're like, yeah, I got the vaccine. Wow, you're one. Yeah, of course you believe those things.
Wait till they flip the switch, buddy.
I don't. Well, dude, phew. I've removed myself from a lot of the debating in that sense. So no, I mean, I don't necessarily think. If that were the case, and I've already defeated myself, if that were an argument, because I've already gotten half of it, and I got the second shot set up. So no, I mean, I don't. What the hell were you asking me? I don't get it.
See, look, it's already coming into play here. What I'm saying is now if you're talking to these gaggle muffs, that's a term I'm coining right now.
Gaggle
These gaggle muffs, these gaggle muffs out there.
Start making up words.
They're just gonna say like, well, you're one of them now. You got the vaccine. You're chipped. You know, they're already controlling you, man. The serum's in you.
Yeah, well,
like I just feel like now, from their perspective, you can't win an argument because you've already dabbled in the devil's.
Oh,
the devil's
right.
Selling
Because
yourself. Yeah.
I can't necessarily come at it from an unbiased standpoint because I've been chipped. Well, here's the thing. Maybe at this stage of the game, because I've removed myself from so much of that debate, that perhaps this is a great time. Because what I've realized is that debating such minute things with pointless acts of these type of people is a waste of time. And I get to do it about an hour and a half a week with two of my best friends. So that kind of scratches my itch. And you guys are chipped too. You guys are chipped too.
Yeah. I'm fully chipped now too. I'm a step ahead of you guys.
Good to go, baby.
Yeah.
Waiting for that firmware update. Trying to have the Spotify on my fucking ear. Just touch my ear.
Where's the volume up button? Is it like?
Yep, just like that.
Well, before we move on, Wes, what was your goal in the first place? I know in a younger age, it was, a little bit of rabble rousing. You just kind of wanted to get they were getting a rise out of you, so in return, you wanted to get a rise out of them. And I think you wanted to speak some truth to power. But at this stage of the game, is it to turn one of them? Is it to have one of them see inside themselves finally? What was your end game with trying to argue with these putzes?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly because at a certain point,
I felt like have an answer.
If I were to really dive into it and say, here's facts, here's links, here's this, or substantiate your claim. Okay, you can't do that. You can't actually bring any fact or any type of real source to back up what the hell you're saying, or the source that you're bringing is full of shit. You're not going to see that. So usually I used humor and satire to try to try to piss these people off. Occasionally it would be like what you said. I mean, every now and then you'd get someone to think oh man, wow, this is a little bit silly. But for the most part, it was just to humor myself. It was just self-fulfilling.
Okay.
It's just satisfy my own need.
I just laugh at people, and I think that angers them. Mm-hmm. I either laugh emoji their shit, or I just put a bunch of laugh emojis. I just aggressively express that I'm hysterically laughing at their stupidity. Right. I think it works out for me.
Here's one, Murr. Okay. I was actually doing it the other day under the Middle Classholes name, by the way, because that's my only YouTube outlet now. I came across someone who believes that a plane did not fly into the Pentagon. Okay, that a missile was shot into it, and then I posed the question. I said, why would they want it to? Conspirators, why would they want it to look like a plane? All right, does that question make sense?
It's a fair question.
Okay, hold on. Why would the conspirators want it to look like a plane? See, my answer would be, because they already made up the quote-unquote lie that planes were hijacked, so they'd want it to look like a plane so that it would match the cover story.
So we witnessed, at least in part, one plane fly in. There are some other videos of the first plane, Flight 11, flying in amongst thousands of other New Yorkers who witnessed it. So you can't deny, at least whether or not it was the plane or not, the hijacked planes or not, that flew into the Twin Towers. So at what point would the conspirators say, you know what, we're going to make it look like a plane flew into the Pentagon, but we're not going to use a plane, but we're going to fly planes into the Twin Towers? What would be the purpose of that? Why? How would that make the conspiracy more viable?
Hold on. Better yet, why would they shoot any kind of armament at the Pentagon? And what armament did they fill with busted up airplane parts to make it fit the narrative? Okay. Answer, please.
Yeah.
Well, what I will say is that for some reason, it is very difficult to find pictures of the airplane debris on the field outside of the Pentagon, though I do know it exists, and I've seen... What? Don't shake your head.
No,
what are you talking about?
You can Google Pentagon airplane parts, 9/11, and there's dozens of photos. But go on, fair enough.
No, I'm just saying it would just seem with an event like that, you would see more than I've seen the pictures. Mm-hmm. I know they're out there, but I'm just saying we hadn't quite entered the digital age like we're in now, so pictures weren't as. Not everybody had a camera phone on them. Not everybody had an iPhone. I'm just saying the pictures aren't as plentiful as I think today's conspiracy theorists would like to believe that they should be.
Yeah.
It's just the technology wasn't readily available. So a lot of the pictures you see, like there's only like 10 pictures and they're just like from different angles. So why the fuck? There's not like thousands of pictures like there are of like, the chick you went to high school's daughter going to spring break where she has like 20,000 pictures that she uploaded to Facebook. There's only a handful.
Sure. And
so they think there should be more, but there's not. And so they use that as evidence to say.
Again, so I dial back. Why would they want it to look like that?
Well, yeah. Why would they want it to look like that?
Yeah. Why would the conspirators just say, listen, we're going to shoot I don't know, water to ground missile at this and say, okay, yeah, flight 77 flew into that. Why would they want that to be the disguise, the David Copperfield? Anyway. That my point was that I've never been able to in the humor of my debunking. Why would that be their end game? Why not just say a fucking terrorist like knelt down to the side of the Pentagon with a what is it, anti-aircraft missile and shot it in the side of the Pentagon.
I was like, I don't even think that there's anything. I mean, there is, but it's like comedically large that you would have to shoot at the Pentagon to make that hole. Like
G.I. Joe busted
like fucking
G.I.
Joe
Joe
Coyote and got a fucking crate from Acme and was just like, like, nope. Nothing. People would be like, "Why is that there? And why is it pointing this way?"
Meanwhile,
like people coming into work for the day.
Yeah, rush hour in D.C. No one saw that.
People would fucking spot it. I don't know if you've been around the Pentagon. It's pretty open. Like you can see it.
Well, that and why wouldn't they just take credit for having such weaponry instead of being like, why would they take the time to try to hijack planes where they could be like, yes, we stole cruise missile technology from Russia. And they all speak with Russian accents because I can't do a Middle Eastern accent. Why wouldn't they just be like, we stole this fucking giant piece of armory from somewhere and we launched it at you because we're bad motherfuckers. Eat shit. Die. Mm-hmm. Or do they think that just the U.S. military shot a missile at their own Pentagon?
That's
our own Pentagon.
Yeah, I've heard some wild stuff like it got shot from the Chesapeake Bay and then somehow did a 180 as it looped around. I think is it called Crystal City around Arlington? Yeah, just right around those coordinates they managed to do a face off.
That's not heavily populated or anything.
No one rolling into suburbia of DC just happened to see a fucking Tomahawk just. Nope. Nobody.
Densely populated area.
Right. Oh God. Middle class holes, Foxman, Murr, Allen. Guys, I made a pit stop at work the other day. Actually, I went to Best Buy to pick up a piece of hardware and software for something I'm going to show you guys here very shortly. But I came to the realization of something, and maybe you guys feel the same way I do about this. Okay, do you guys suffer from any type of road rage?
Not really.
I wouldn't say yeah. I want to say no, but I know there's some yes in there. I'm very short tempered, but I let it go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I want to say no, but it's sprinkled with a little bit of yes.
Yeah, I feel like that's me.
You cunt-sucking motherfucker might come out of my mouth several times a day, but it's fleeting. It's like, you cunt-sucking motherfucker. And then that's about it.
Right.
And then I go back to, like, sitting at the red light and waiting.
Yeah. It's like short outbursts for me. And then in the event that you, like, cut me off or there's a reason that you need to get the horn, you get the horn for an obnoxious amount of time. Like, if we're on 295 and we're like, you're a couple exits down, we're getting it, boy. Like you are going to fucking be furious. Yeah. That's like my only the petty little thing. But other than that,
this is okay. I kind of feel like you guys are getting what I'm getting at, and some would describe it as road rage. Sarah said it. I came home and I told her this, and she said, "Doug, you suffer from road rage." And what it was, I got almost clipped in the rear end of my new car, which
Your new Veloster,
my Veloster Turbo, my Veloster Raptor, which I'm very protective of now. And
you call it the Veloster Raptor?
Well, they call it that, so therefore it's that.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh,
Who's they?
That's fucking Hyundai does that?
No. My roommates, Sarah and Dylan. Sarah and cousin Dylan.
Done. Stamped.
That's
Put
fine.
that in the books.
That's fine. And it's, you suffer from road rage. Says, no. And what I came to realize is that I think, Alan, you were describing this. I suffer from retroactive road rage. If you're a dickhead, I'm going to fucking go after you. I'm going to fucking fire on all cylinders to go and make you realize
I think we're about to...
that you were the fucking dickhead. But yeah, it's you. If you fucking cut me off, almost clip me, honk at me when I'm being I'm a safe driver. I drive to survive. I don't take risks for the most part. If you go out of your way to be a dick to me, brother, you're gonna get fucking Dale Earnhardt Jr. and not in a nice way. You're probably gonna get senior. You're gonna get the enforcer.
I was gonna say the senior.
Yeah. And I don't know. I felt when I was told like you suffer from road rage. Why don't you just let it go? I don't know, because these dicks need to be told.
Well, I think this might be the difference between me and Alan and you. Now, see, Alan and I don't think we're overly animated with our rage. I think we just say words and a vein or two might start to bulge from our temples. Now, U.S., there's some hammer fisting going on to the steering wheel. There's a lot of flailing. There's a lot of fuck yous and middle fingers and things of that nature that freak the people in the car out. So the people in the car are witnessing this and saying like, oh, this is a road rage incident right here. But I'll say that true road rage would be you following an individual to their house, writing down their license plate number, maybe getting an eye on what address they live at, taking down in a journal all of these factoids, and then planning another day at another time to excise revenge on said individual.
Taking pictures of the car or some shit. Yeah, don't do that.
Learning their children's names, what schools they go to, and things like. I don't think you've ever ventured down that path.
No,
so I won't say.
The farthest it has ever gone is if said
is I killed a guy.
Yeah, if said person wants to engage in conversation, and by that I mean roll our windows down and chat at 75 miles an hour down the freeway. I've said, I think 4 or 5 times, do you want to go? Meaning, do you want to find a rest stop and fucking and come to fisticuffs?
Okay, you're starting to kind of soil your own argument and just and this really comes down to like how willing you are to fight the other person. See, a lot of my shit is kind of passive aggressive. Like it's said, and if they catch me saying it, like I'm not going to shy away from it necessarily, but I'm not going to continue to be the aggressor, or I'll get my ass kicked. I didn't know this. And I think this has to do with you being right on that threshold, being 6 foot, right around 200 pounds. That's the kind of human that has the ability to throw down at a moment's notice. You know, there's not a lot of people bigger than you. There are a fair amount of people smaller than you. Whereas where I sit, there's a lot more on the high end than there are on the low end. So I guess I know my lane and I know to stay in it.
But I feel like it's never it's never provoked. It's never if I'm on the wrong end of this, if I've made a mistake, if I've inadvertently thrown the turn signal on with someone in my blind spot, I'm usually like, hey, look, man, I fucked up. My bad, bro. I apologize. And if they yell at me, I'm like, yep, you're right. You did that. But I think about a week ago, someone blew a tire and was slow to pull over, and it was like a sandwich going down 97, brake, about 5 cars, and I may have been trying to throw on some Biggie on my phone, and it was like, oh shit, and then it caused like a little bit of a backup. No fender benders, no bumper rubbing, no rubbing is racing type shit. And then, in an attempt to get over, the guy who was behind me got over and then sped up and then got pissed off that most people were getting over and then honked at me and flicked me off. I was like, yeah, you fuck you. And I tried to catch up with him. And tried to tell him fuck you a few more times. He drove way too fast, a lot faster than I was comfortable with.
The turbo couldn't catch him.
Oh, this is when I was in the accent.
Oh, all right, that's fair. So okay, I was just gonna
say, this is why I bought the turbo, so he catches fucks.
Wes, I mean, you're my man's in them, but you don't have just a road rage problem. You have a little bit of a rage problem. And it's not like a huge problem, but you get mad, and I get it. But like Mur said, you're very aggressive when you get mad. Like I do every now and then get that aggressive, like bang on some shit or like break something. But yeah, you get there often. It's cool though. I don't think it's a problem. You should probably not follow people. I will say that.
Listen to Alan backpedaling all of a sudden.
No, hey, look, I don't think it's a problem. I'm just letting you know that it's a thing that you do, and I'm also saying you should probably not follow people. Just that's my little last piece of advice, because it sounds like that's where you went with your car stories, is that you follow people.
Now, let me ask you, Wes, what was your argument on this? Were you denying that you have a road rage?
It just clearly was.
It's just people with road rage give me road rage. People, aggressive drivers who think they can do no wrong. Then, obviously people who are driving. I've always said that there is a difference between driving fast and driving aggressive. You can drive fast and not tailgate and not cut people off and not, and you can breeze through traffic. And I've been in the car with people like this. Listener, Kilby drives fast, but at a point where he doesn't realize that he can't fucking play Frogger through traffic. He just dials it back, takes his time, and then goes. But then you get people, and I don't know, it's just like they're going to cause fucking accidents. And the moment you cut me off, fuck you. I'll find you.
Then, do you want to go?
Do you want to go? I've only done that 4 times.
4 times?
What
I did it to a FedEx driver.
What highways were they on? Do you remember?
3 of them were 97, just going down to Annapolis. Once was a FedEx driver. I showed him the phone because he cut me off, basically saying like, "Hey, I'm calling the whatever's on your bumper. How's my driving?" And he cut me off again. And I was like, I don't care where he's going. I'm following him.
He'll stop eventually.
I didn't. To his credit, he drove pretty fast.
Ain't no governors on those babies.
Yeah.
Well,
slinging.
I will just say this. And as far as like Alan's point goes, not necessarily road rage, but a little bit of rage.
Uh-huh.
When our Zoom calls, stall out.
Perfect example.
Alan and I will have a conversation guessing of how angry you're going to be when the screen finally comes back to motion. We joke about what will be on fire in the background. How many things will have been smashed? And will the audio continue to work when the computer catches up?
I feel like you're always just gripping the table like...
I like
your head's down, like trying to fucking zen yourself.
I like to think of myself as a relatively even keel guy. You guys, it's almost like a intervention that just kind of manifested amongst talking about road rage. You guys telling me that I suffer from a little bit of I don't even know, but aggressiveness.
Well, if we're being honest, I mean, we were kind of afraid to bring it up.
Fuck yeah, I snorted on that one. How dare you make me fucking snort? Come on, wanna go?
Now we also know that it's short lived. Like the rage will subside, and eventually somebody will say something, kind of smart, and everybody will giggle a little bit, and we'll be somewhat zeroed back in. But it can be a little tense until that moment occurs.
Damn. Do I need to seek therapy? Do I need to start smoking weed again?
That's probably what you need.
Maybe all of the above. I think the whole world could use all of it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what the whole world could use. Hold on to your butts. A Face-Off sequel is coming, and Nicolas Cage and John Travolta are now rumored to be returning. Christ, I don't know, it was like the 1990s. Doesn't even give a goddamn date. I think it's 1997.
It was 1997. It was 97 because I saw it when I was a senior in high school.
Director Adam Wingard announced he was doing a sequel for the 1990s epic Face Off. It's news that if that's news, this is great. This is from what? Barstool Sports? If that's news that doesn't get your dick hard as a railroad spike in the North Pole, then you must hate great cinema.
Now, I read the whole article, and I couldn't tell if they were being ironic when they said this, or if they truly are a fan of Face Off.
Yeah, constantly going back to the running back reboot after reboot. Well, Face Off enthusiasts, basically, they say the term Face Off enthusiasts. I'm curious if there actually is such a thing. Is that a niche group of folk?
I will say that, and later on in the article, I think they get to it. It was an original concept. I'll give them that. Mm-hmm. It was a bizarre, weird, strange concept, and some producers and a production studio, they took a chance. I mean, they had two of the hottest actors at the time, so how much of a chance was it? Because people were going to go see it no matter what. But as far as him saying, Hollywood keeps going back to the well, they didn't with this one. This was water that maybe was better left undrawn, but they dipped the pail in and they came up with Face Off. So at least at that point, I agree. It was an original idea. It was an original concept, and we do need more of those. But is Face Off the thing that people get their dick rock hard like a railroad spike on the North Pole? I don't know.
Well, I also like that. As they go on and on in the article, they finish it off with what's it? It looks like tweet after tweet of a photo of Gina Gershon telling you to bring back Gina Gershon.
It's Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah. You're going to bring back Nick Cage and John Travolta. Give us Gina Gershon, which makes sense. I mean, Face Off. Christ, someone mentioned it in a good bad movie. In our audience selection, and I just never. The movie always seemed weird to me is the fact that was it Nick Cage. I have a tough time remembering who was who because
was it that their faces came off and switched?
Well, it was that that and then the other one is that whoever was the dad used to run their hands over the kid's face and that's how they knew that was their dad because their dad weirdly mushed them. Like fingers from forehead to chin.
I mean, I remember this detail.
Okay. Yeah. Nick Cage with Nick Cage's face was the good guy. Okay. And so Nicolas Cage then gets John Travolta's face put on his because John Travolta was the bad guy. Then, through the plot of the movie, the thick of the movie, the John Travolta looking character is Nicolas Cage under the surface. So the John Travolta character on the outside is the bad guy, but inside is the good guy.
Right. And then he has to mush his kids weirdly from, face palm, temple to temple, side to side, all the way up and down. And the concept of this is, I can't believe I'm going to say this. It's just something I had a revelation about thinking about the original Face Off is that showing off the range of emotion, you're basically playing two different people in a matter of 90 minutes is kind of brilliant, But I don't like the idea.
See? You got there. You got there yourself. We didn't need us.
Damn it! I hate when you're right. I hate when you're right.
Nicolas Cage did an interview, and he said that Face Off was when he learned that he was a true actor, because he said that was the only time he ever got scared for a role, because at the time John Travolta was like this iconic actor in Hollywood, and he's like, oh, can I really play Travolta? And then he said he realized that he was somebody when John Travolta, the actor, then had to play Nicolas Cage. That meant that Nicolas Cage had established that he had enough quirks and oddities about his mannerisms that another Hollywood actor had to then go and try to emulate him. And so he said that's when he realized he was a true actor, because somebody else was able to mimic him, and then he in turn was, tasked with mimicking another, A-list Hollywood actor. So that, yeah, you're right. In a weird, strange way, this fucking shit turd of a movie shows off some
acting
thespian
chops.
range.
Acting, yeah. So what's this second one going to be? Faces Off?
Well, they gave each other their faces back, right? By the end of the movie?
I think they did, yes.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
With no scars either.
Yeah.
Science.
So, I mean, are they really going to do it again?
I mean, probably.
What I think
Maybe they do it. Maybe they do it and team up.
Make me Castor Troy again.
Maybe it'll be like a buddy cop.
Only half the face this time.
Oh, it could work.
They have to pull a Phantom of the Opera like onesies.
And you're going to have to humor me, because I'm going to need to read the synopsis from IMDb for everyone. For those unfamiliar with the plot of Face Off, to foil a terrorist plot, an FBI agent undergoes facial transplant surgery to assume the identity of the criminal mastermind who murdered his only son. But the criminal wakes up prematurely and seeks revenge.
Mm-hmm.
That's the original.
Yes.
And you figure between that movie and then The Rock, which is Jerry Bruckheimer circa 95, 96, and then Travolta was in a really shitty movie with Howie Long and Christian Slater around the same time. I think it was called Nuclear Explosion or something.
Why do you know this?
You don't believe me?
No, we're not. No, we believe you. It's just we don't believe that your mind is capable of holding on to such information, yet you prove us wrong every time.
It's like Rain Man-esque.
Hold on. Broken Arrow.
Broken Arrow?
Yeah, terrible. 1996.
It wasn't that bad.
It was pretty bad.
That was with Christian. Yeah, it was with Christian Slater, and they stole a. When there is a loose nuclear weapon from the Americans, it's called a broken arrow.
That's correct.
Yeah. And so that's why it's called. And so, and then I think the balls on that movie is I think they actually blow. It actually goes off.
Deep underground in the Nevada or Utah wasteland, I think. Yeah. And I don't mean
so
wasteland.
Like all of Utah.
Top to bottom, baby.
Yeah, I mean, that movie's trash because Christian Slater's in it. So,
wait, are you? So you're saying top to bottom, all Christian Slater movies are?
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of one off the top of my shelf. There might be one hidden in there that I'm like, not thinking about. But
Heathers.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess.
Interview with a Vampire, which he has like 4 lines in.
Yeah, does that count? Are we counting that? Okay.
Gleaming the Cube.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
It's a skateboarding movie.
That is
good.
So no.
That is a skateboarding movie. Okay, it's a skateboarding movie on par with the BMX movie Rad, if you will.
Pump up the volume.
What?
Pump up the volume. He's like a pirate radio disc jockey.
Yeah, I'm looking through his IMDb right now.
He was also in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, with Slater, or not Slater. Said that Slater is in the movie with AC Slater, Christian Slater and AC Slater.
Let's see, that would have been good.
What's the one he's in with Gary Oldman, Patricia Arquette, Christian Slater?
True
That's
Romance.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, so he's been in some.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was also
He's
in.
been-
It's just been a while since he's been in anything
had a
halfway
good-
decent.
He had a great line. And do you guys remember My Name is Earl?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I love that show.
So
Yeah.
Earl and his brother, it was Paul Rudd. No, it's not Paul Rudd. Jason Lee, and then the fat guy from American History
Sup Lee.
X. Yeah. So, go to. Christian Slater is now running like a hippie community, and they have to spend a couple days there in order to gain his I guess for him to accept his apology. They have to live with him for a few days, and then after a few days, he says, "Oh, you guys aren't too bad." He goes like, "Oh yeah," and for anyone who ever says that happiness is the best cure for anything, never had chlamydia.
The most
Wow,
random
that was a lot.
The most random shit.
Wait, never had gonorrhea. I don't know.
That's a lot of setup for a lot of letdown.
You want to fucking go? You don't like my fucking jokes?
Come find me now.
Rage.
No. Speaking of, I don't even know if you guys could consider this road rage. All right. So, Amazon is having to apologize for their drivers pissing in bottles. I believe did we talk about? There was something about probably 6 or 7 months ago where it was a driver had taken a dump somewhere, right? Remember this? It was a male truck driver.
They took a shit right in somebody's like yard.
Yeah, and it was like, oh my god! And you had said, look, this guy had probably been on the road for a long time. Anyway, the peeing in the bottles thing is in fact true. Amazon said Friday in a public issue apology from a tweet in its Amazon News account that suggested stories about its drivers urinating in bottles while working are bogus. Quote, "We don't really believe that peeing in bottles is a thing, do you? If that were true, nobody would work for us," the company said in its original March 24th tweet, which was a response from a tweet from Republican Mark Pocan. Pocan's tweet had said, paying workers $15 an hour does not make you a progressive workplace when you're a non-union bust and make workers urinate in water bottles. It goes on, honestly, Christ, that's like 7 paragraphs. Christ, they pee in bottles? Who gives a shit, right? They're on the road. They got to pee anywhere.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say it is evident that the PR department has never worked a job with a route, which requires some sacrifice.
Pun intended.
Every now and then.
Pun intended. The PR, right?
Yes. The PR do not know what the hell they're talking about because everybody's peeing in bottles if you're in a vehicle for fucking most of your workday.
Yeah. What do they not expect? I figure, okay, this is a bit of a catch-22 because if you're trying to promote a healthy workplace, it's not healthy, and correct me if I'm wrong, science has shown that driving for vast majorities of the day is not good for your posture, not good for your back, not good for your hips, not good for your knees, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're going to do that for long, and Murr's shaking his head, it's like, yeah, you motherfucker. And... okay, if you're going to do one thing right, it's going to be hydrate. Yeah?
Well, yeah, that's important.
And if you drink water for, what is it? It's half your body weight in ounces a day is the recommended amount.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's about when you wake up to when you go to bed, that's about the recommended dosage of water. If you drink that, you got to piss. So good God, man, what do these people expect?
Bottom line is this: everybody needs to shut the fuck up. And I'm very torn on both sides of this because I know what's going to happen. Once they admit that their drivers pee in bottles, then they have to say, "Well, then I guess we need to give our drivers time to go, take a piss at a local rest stop or a restaurant or something of that sort." Then what's going to happen is drivers are going to start taking advantage, and they're going to not necessarily have to pee, but they're going to take an extra 10 or 15-minute break and be like, "Oh, well, I had to pee. I had to drive all the way back to rural farms because I had to take a leak." You don't want peeing in bottles, do you? So bottom line, it should just be like, Yes, sometimes our drivers pee in bottles. It's their choice if they want to or not. It has to be like an open secret that, yeah, guys are pissing in bottles. Ladies, I don't know what you do. More power to you.
Well,
they do need to. Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up, but yeah, like I was gonna say, I'm certain that in Amazon's fucking handbook, it does not say you better piss in that motherfucking bottle. Like, nowhere does. I'm sure nowhere does it say that. Like I said, anybody who's worked a route in any capacity in a vehicle, in a truck, or driving your own vehicle to hit different stops in a day, might have to pee. You usually eat a lot of fast food. It's not good for you. It's a tough lifestyle. This is just like, I think this is being used as a nice political talking point. So it is what it is.
Grace, I don't work for Amazon, and I piss in a bottle about once every 6 months.
Yep.
Really? In your own car?
No, no. I'm usually too busy yelling at people while I'm in my own car. I don't. I don't think
that makes sense.
So no, but it's in certain situations.
Look, bottom line is this. I'm not going to specifically say who I work for, but I do the job, a very similar job. And I'd say before you pop the cherry of, I would suggest Gatorade bottles are great. Tropicana juice bottles are really good because they got a big, wide mouth. However, they tend to lack the size. They're not as big because juices are usually like 10 ounces or less. Let's see, what else? Vitamin waters are good. They're a good size. But until you finally do it for the first couple of times, like you're like, oh, should I be doing this? This feels wrong and dirty. And then once you realize you just saved yourself like 10 to 15 minutes of your day from stopping what you're doing, turning around. Again, if you've got to piss that bad, holding your piss for an extra 5 minutes just to get to a place where you can go, waiting to use a filthy fucking shit-crusted bathroom just to relieve yourself and then go back to doing exactly what you were doing, especially if it's raining out or something like that. I think there's a lot of drivers out there that are just like, yeah, look, I piss in bottles. Is it a problem? Just turn your head and don't address it. So Amazon just made the mistake of saying, absolutely, they don't do that. We're a much more. Who cares what you're doing in the back of that truck? Yeah. If you're licking your box when it gets to the fucking front porch, there's more of a problem with the customer than there is with the driver.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten a Amazon package and wondered, like, I hope that guy doesn't pee in bottles while he's driving? You ever thought about that? No.
I've thought, I hope he pees in bottels because it got here faster.
Yeah, he better get that shit here now. It said between 3 and 8. It is fucking 7:30.
I didn't pay for Prime for nothing. I hope my Prime drivers Prime pee in bottles that they drink out of.
And yes, I got them sent to me in separate packages because I want this one as soon as humanly possible and the other one also as soon as humanly possible. But they're not on the same day. I'm not economical. Give me my shit.
Ugh, I'm not economical. Give me my shit.
Okay, so what do you think the solution is then? Because I know what I know what the solution should be as far as where I sit.
It's probably them being like, hey guys, we don't make them do that. They can stop whenever they want. Like, they run a route. As long as it's done, we don't give a fuck. They can get it done at 8 p.m. if they really want to. Most drivers don't, though.
Yeah. I don't think there's a solution to anything. I think what this is that people are now getting a front row seat to major American transportation of commerce. And prior to this, you went to your Strawbridges or your fucking J.C. Penney's or whatever. Now it's being brought to your doorstep, and you figure that you didn't give a fuck if someone who was delivering cargo to a Walmart pissed in a bottle just to get there faster. Now that it's coming to your doorstep, like, oh, wait a minute, there might be pee involved. No, not me, not for my Pumas.
You mean my modern conveniences are inconveniencing the average American worker? Shucks. Like, that's basically what we're talking about here. And yeah, it's not nice. And please, my Amazon driver, if you deliver in 21230, take your time. Go pee. I don't give a fuck. Just get my shit here. If it says between 3 and 8, just make that happen. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and I'm not going to ask you to roll down your window or open your door to see if you have, pee bottles lined up.
Nope.
Like fucking Lloyd
Don't
Christmas.
I would assume that the times that we're living in, you're sanitizing your hands quite a bit. So, we're good. That's fine. I usually take shit out of the Amazon box before I do anything with it. So.
Oh, I thought you said you take a shit out of an Amazon box. I usually take a shit in an Amazon box.
But hey, deliver this back to Bezos.
Well, the bottom line is a seasoned driver doesn't want to miss the pee bottle anyway. It's not like they're willfully getting piss all over their truck. They got to drive that same one every day. You don't want piss. You don't want that smell of piss, especially summertime. You don't want to. No, you don't want any urine stains in your vehicle. And then as soon as you're done, while it's nice and steamy and hot, and before you put the cap on, you just dump it out right there and you move on. Okay, that's how the game is.
Yeah,
played.
there's just some guidelines. Like, don't stockpile. I don't think you don't want fucking 10 bottles piss in your shit. You know what I mean? You gotta get.
And if they really want to make a good olive branch to the workers, just hand out the medical grade, like the things they give you in the hospital, like when you're too ill to get up to take a leak. Just give each driver one of these and say, you have an extra 10 minutes to go take a leak twice a day. So there's an extra 20 minutes should you need to take it. If you choose not to take it, here is a complimentary bottle to use at your convenience. Let's never speak of this again. Good luck and be safe. That's it.
Right? Like Amazon could give them some fucking wide mouth bottles, wide mouth gallons.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here you go, guys.
It's just
If you want them, they're free.
On my
here.
On my way back from, and I'm not going to name names, Alan. If you want to know, actually, both of you know this gentleman, but on my way back from a Christmas break from Frostburg, a good friend of ours was in my back seat and had to piss, and we were in an area where 70 beat 695. There wasn't actually anywhere. He's like, "Yep, gotta go," and I think he had a few beers. And said, "Yeah, can someone get me something?" And we got, I think it was either a 20 ounce or something. And he had claimed, he claimed that his pee hole in his penis was bigger than the actual mouthpiece. So therefore, he had to kind of pee it into the bottle, kind of create an arc-like action. And it didn't work out too well. Got a lot all in his pants.
None of that sounds accurate.
Yeah, none of it. No.
He one of them weirdos jamming things up in his pee hole.
I was like, I want to see proof that your pee hole is bigger than the mouthpiece.
Well, I don't want to see proof, but I just don't believe it. I don't need you to prove it to me. I'm not going to believe you.
Yeah, I'm looking at the top of a beer bottle right now, the mouth hole there, which is roughly the same diameter. And if that's a truthful statement, he is carrying a hog worth of Guinness's time. Because if there's any flesh then surrounding that,
right?
I'd be proud. I'd just hang it out the window.
And how fast would you pee? You would just immediately evacuate everything. It would just.
Yeah, right. Cubed R squared.
It's literally like he just opened a window and water fell out. That's it.
Yeah,
that's nonsensical. It doesn't. No, I don't believe that.
That's what he said. That's what he told me.
Hey, whatever. We'll take your / his word for it.
I was driving.
That's only because he pissed all over the backseat of your car.
Right?
It's a good point. Yeah.
That's exactly why he pissed all over. Was anybody else in the backseat with him?
Kilby.
See, Kilby knew, and it was just oh fuck it, just make something up.
Kilby's like, let me see that pee hole. Let me take a look at that. Let me take a gander. Art.
Throw a finger around in there.
Fit the whole index in there.
Yeah. I was actually, you guys will appreciate this. I was at a wedding this weekend. Winslow, DB got married. And so we're sitting at the table, all right? And you guys know that kind of a you won't attitude will kind of force me to do things that I will end up doing if I'm drunk enough. And they had these little flask bottles of olive oil with a little bit of rosemary in it. Something that you could like dabble on bread, etc., etc. And Kilby said, "Hey, you
or drink,
or hey, you won't down that." I was like, "Yeah, I'll down that." I was like, what's it worth to you? $10." And I did it. Boom. And I was like, well, that actually wasn't half bad. And I've heard that olive oil will, is a little bit is good for you in that regard, et cetera, et cetera. And then I proceeded to drink my face off, danced all night, came back and jokingly said
a couple more times.
I would do another one. And I did another one. All right. And then we went and drank a little bit more. And I got to tell you, I had a barf that was like 25 heave-hos. Like, over, like, gave me a sore throat. I feel like I peeled the fucking enamel off the inside of my teeth. I kept trying to tell Sarah I was really sorry between like number 17 and 24. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. And yeah, then when I was done, I was like, tears, snot, puke down the side of my mouth. And she's like, "So do you want to go to the after party?" No, I think the night's over. I think the night's over. Oh, so yeah, two 3-ounce flasks of olive oil in the midst of like drinking and eating. Not advisable, folks. If there's any young listeners listening, don't do that.
Was it all oily and shit? Did it come up weird?
Yeah, I know. I feel like it would have just like slid out of your gullet. Just
right. I don't exactly recall the consistency as it was exiting my mouth. It seemed rather pungent and extremely acidity.
That's fair. I just it's one of those things. Like I vividly remember like certain vomits. I ate. I was talking about it with my wife the other day. I ate. Yes. So I had some baked potato soup once before keg race. I don't know, Murr, have we told you about keg race? We do.
No.
We used to do it.
No, but I know.
We used to do it during homecoming every year against another fraternity. But anyway, yeah. At Sand Spring, I got some baked potato soup. I don't know why. It's not like I had not been in a keg race before either. It wasn't my first one. And then I proceeded to just like vomit sludge for the first like couple vomits. It was just mashed potato with bacon bits and some beer foam. Just very, very aggressively.
That's so like, because all right. Going into that you're gonna barf. You're like, yes. Okay, I'm participating in keg race. I'm going to puke my guts up, and it's advisable to not go into that with an empty stomach. They tell you get something bready. There's actually no real. I don't know.
Good thing.
There's no playbook to it, but certainly
there are bad things.
Baked potato soup might be on the don't fly list, perhaps.
Well, the very first time I did it, and I will say that this time, like that time, I was like super hungover, obviously, and I was like, oh god, I gotta get something. The soup will get me right, and it did. And then I went and got hammered. But the first time I did it, this was just me not even thinking. And I was broker at the time, so I had some. I think I had some spicy McChickens. I had some spicy chickens from Burger King. Yeah,
yeah,
and actually a small onion ring. So it came
Even
up
better.
It came up so oniony. It was so not good. That was worse than the baked potato soup, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I've made some poor decisions before keg race before.
I'm getting a little like nauseated thinking about it. I've been involved in a few of those.
Yeah,
because the cheapest food best bang for your buck on any college campus is your local General Tso's chicken from fucking run down Chinese food restaurant, which is the absolute most terrifying thing to come back out of your fucking mouth that you could ever have. Especially if they put the little like the little I don't know what the hell they are, like dehydrated chilies that they throw in there, and having one of those fuckers come right back up and get stuck in the back of your teeth.
Yeah, that would suck. No, that sounds awful.
Yeah, it's a nice palate when it comes back out, though, especially if you get the pork fried rice with it. Nice yellows and reds. You can't tell if your ulcer is bleeding or if it's just sauce that's come out.
It's always you knew it was a good vomit when it was still on like the surface of wherever you were vomiting like a couple days later. You're like, whew, that was a fucking bad boy right there.
Yeah, I always feel like I like have. I don't necessarily if I've had this bad dream, but I almost sometimes worry of like my dentist is gonna be like, "Hey man, you been barfing lately?
You been voluntarily vomiting for a while?
The enamel on the back of your teeth's a little light."
There was a time.
Yeah, I know. I don't have an eating disorder. I just binge drink a lot.
Yeah. We do it for funsies.
Take a CAT scan. You'll be thrilled.
Just puke and rally. Just like 10 of us.
That's right.
No big deal.
I tried to avoid my molars as much as I could. It's wide open.
Now listen up, fellas. Do you know the statistics on unprotected sex? Men are 3 to 5 times more likely to bust early. Don't be a pump and dump. Wrap it up. Now, back to more of the Middle Classholes.
Welcome back to the Middle Classholes. Murr, Alan, Foxman. Listen, guys. So I finally did my due diligence and got something from our past digitized. You guys ready for this?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know if I am, but I am.
Well, too fucking bad, asshole. All right. Here we go.
I can't wait. We've been talking about this for so long. This is so exciting. Yeah, look at it.
Look at that. Look at that greeny ass picture.
Timestamps. Yeah, right? Look at the definition.
Looks like a ghost.
What's behind there? It could be anything.
Why?
Is that really the time of day?
3:08. It was probably like an hour off, you know.
Were you okay?
Yeah.
Dude, tell me we got that. Dude, did you record that?
Am I alright?
He's alright.
He's alright.
Come on, we're getting up. Let him
go.
Alright. You overjumped it just a little bit.
You guys want to see a dead body?
Kelvin? Oh, fuck. Did you jam it?
Did you jam it? Is he dead?
Jam it? What? Your spine?
No, he's not fucking paralyzed.
Dude, where am
He just compressed himself real good.
You left your cigarettes up there?
Amy, tell me, Dan, come on.
Oh, no.
I just want. I want you to listen to the thump one more time.
Ready? Put down there a little bit.
2, 3.
Were you okay?
All right.
Yo. And then Dewey's statement at the end.
What's that?
He's not paralyzed. He just compressed it.
As evident by his flailing and rolling around. He's definitely not paralyzed.
I think sometimes I wonder if they were more concerned about me or the phone call they'd have to make if I was in worse shape than I actually was.
That was always the concern for antics like that.
Yeah.
Like, me and my boys always did some shit like that. Be like, oh, fuck. Do we gotta call an ambulance? That's gonna be bad.
And then, of course, Dewey, did you get that? Did you get that? Please tell me you were recording that. Oh, man.
Pretty much.
Worth the price of admission, man. Jesus Christ. Middle Class Souls, that's what... Mur, do you give us your consent to not only air that with our commentary like Mystery Science Theater 3000, but also just air that in its entirety as a separate thing.
Yeah.
On the middle class levels. All right,
Absolutely. I would like to do. I'd actually like to do a separate, just mini episode where we actually like go through step by step, what led up to it, the eyeballing of the jump, the missing of the jump, everything. I'm absolutely. The world should witness my pain.
I think we talked about this originally, but did you or someone yell "Master" like Master of Puppets before your jump? Was it you?
No,
it wasn't me. That was the guy recording. That was Adam. I don't know if Adam was recording or if Joey was recording. But either way, Adam was trying to coax me to. Long story short, I ended up being the last one, as you can see, on top of the elementary school, and the bush that everybody was jumping into to break their fall was obliterated. It was mashed to shit.
Sure it was.
And so I'm looking down at it. I'm like, guys, there's nothing left to land in. I was like the last man to ride the train. Like you just, what is this? There's nothing to catch any friction here. It has been pummeled, and so anyway, I was trying to hit a specific portion of the bush, and it would have required just a little bit of finesse to get to it, and I over finessed it, and he was trying to coax me down by going like, master, like Master of Puppets, trying to get me to envision Metallica in my head and overcome all fear.
I mean, that's fair. You can run through a wall if you're listening to Master Puppets.
I would like to point out that,
or break your back.
Yeah, I would like to point out this is like a very symbolic example of just how unsympathetic young 20-year-olds are of their friends hurting themselves. Like that was, dude. If one of us did that today, it would be like, stop everything, move away, breathe. I'll call an ambulance. Then it's like, he's not paralyzed. I think he compressed himself.
Yeah, and that's what I mean.
Somebody
that's what
would still say that. That doesn't matter.
And that's what I'm saying is it was them rationalizing not calling 911. That's all that was. And I'm not saying they didn't care about me, but I know they were also wildly concerned with the repercussions of having to get, some sort of law enforcement or emergency medical personnel involved.
I think it was I think it was Dewey. At least it sounded kind of like him, but who was initially like, "All right, come on, get up. Come on, guy, get up.
We're getting up.
Good.
We're getting up." That was Dewey.
We're getting up.
But in his defense on that, he also we've been friends long enough that he knows how to manipulate that inner animal that does still somewhat breathe inside of me. Like, we're getting up. Come on, we're getting up.
Yeah. I totally get it. Like, I definitely, my boys would have done the same kind of shit. Like, you're good.
And here's the thing, like I hadn't watched that on full screen with full audio since that had happened or around that time. I've only been watching it from the, let's see here, from this right. Camera here, this Sony Handycam, which obviously the it's relatively limited in terms of the speaker. Having heard your rear end now hit nearly at full speed with the acoustics just bouncing, sounding like a fucking bass drum, sounding like the drummer from Def Leppard the first time after he started performing after losing an arm, and he was pissed off about losing an arm. Boom! Oh man, good God! And you said that hurt for a year,
dude. I mean, I still feel it a little bit now, and I think I've just compensated over the decades since. And no, there was a good long time. I will say the bulge has gone down. It's like, but no, for about 5 or 6 years after that. If you ran your finger down like the spine of my back, you would have been like, "Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is." There was a disc that was pushed out. Like it was. That was probably something I really should have gone to a specialist for a long time ago.
Do you still have like back and like leg problems at all, or are you good?
Not really leg problems, just back problems, just general stiffness, and I think a lot of that comes from like holding myself differently like every day after that for such a long period of time that I think I just fucked up muscles in my back. I think I'm spinally, if that's a word. I think from a spinal situation, I'm okay. But yeah, I think everything else that surrounds it's all jacked up because of that. Yeah, it was bad. It was a bad night. It was a bad long time. Okay, now I don't want to get too far inside baseball, but Wes, Theodore Road, you know, like when it goes down and then it suddenly goes back up at that little bridge?
Sure.
Or is that Principio Road? Whatever road leads you out past the Theodore Road. Whatever leads you past the Cecil County drag strip.
Yes, I know.
To the community college.
Yeah, but yes.
There's this gully. It's like a valley. You go down, and then all of a sudden, it's like you hit this little bridge, and that's the only flat spot, and then you go right back up. Forever, I would have to and I drove a stick shift. I would have to put it in neutral, and then I would have to get my arms up like this and let go of the steering wheel just to hit that spot, and then come back and then get a hold of the steering wheel again, just so I didn't feel that jolt as the car leveled off and then went back up.
Yeah, that's probably not good.
No.
That's probably something
We
you
don't
should
need to
gotta
be a
look
back
at.
specialist to tell you that's no bueno.
Doctor said I need a backiotomy.
Yeah, and I act. I'm sitting here acting like I know.
Yeah, that
this
sounds
is
terrible,
news.
bro.
I mean, even like a year later, I remember being in our basement. A couple times, she like, it's acting up. Didn't feel so good. You weren't sitting down in a chair like was it the turning into your parents? Was it State Farm?
Yeah.
He's like,
You hear that?
yeah. No, he's like, ooh, God, guys. I want to bring your attention to something we saw on Yahoo News. Man sentenced to prison for helping his wife fake her own death. Married West Virginia couple desperate for a way out of a healthcare fraud case involving the wife hatched a plan to fake her own death, federal authorities said. Now the husband... I'm sorry. It's just this seems like the name that I was going to think of. Rodney Wheeler will serve 2 months in federal prison after pleading guilty to conspiracy to obstruct justice. The Department of Justice said in a press release on Monday. The wife, Julie Wheeler, that's not as bad, was sentenced February to 12 months and 1 day. I wonder why the single day. There must be some sort of thing. The ruse began in May 31st when Rodney Wheeler called 911 to report that his wife had fallen from an overlook at a New River Gorge National Park in southern West Virginia, according to federal authorities. So a massive search and rescue operation was conducted to find her. They didn't. Yada yada. He lied about it. She didn't die. This is pretty desperate. I get it. Desperate times calls for desperate measures, but do you have to do you honestly think you can fake a death forever now in this day and age?
No, not unless you get face-off surgery.
Call Nick Cage.
When I saw the story, I had the same instant response. Like, can you get away with it now? You have to leave the country. I mean, you have to have that set up. You have to go somewhere else. You have to be, in your mind, say, all right, I'm now going to live in Bahrain. That's where I live now. Right. I need to sell all of my earthly possessions and I got to skip town and never come back to the States again. And I don't know. I just feel like people come here with fake papers all the time. And again, not political, but like people come up from the southern border all the time with no papers or forged papers. And we're supposedly one of the most secure nations in the world. And people do it here all the time. It's got to be easier to go the other way. So, yeah, I think it can be done, but not by a bunch of slack-jawed morons named Rodney living in West Virginia.
Nope.
Visiting an overlook in some fucking national park.
Yeah.
I read somewhere there's a statute of limitations. And look, after 7 years you'll be good. I mean, I don't know if the idea was for her to just to lay low and they'd collect the money and she wouldn't work and, you know, she would just be a homemaker and he would work. I don't know. The article didn't say so, but even still, man, I don't know. It just seems odd to me that people someone would want to do that because it's almost like, I don't know, I hate to say this, like murdering someone. You always have to watch your back. You always have to like be on the lookout for shit like that. Am I wrong on that?
No, yes. If you kill someone, you should probably you should probably watch your back.
Right, but it's illegal to fake your own death.
Yeah, it's a thing that other people shouldn't know. If you want to get away with it, like
right.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I wonder how much this is for. I have a strange feeling that Rodney and Julie's life insurance plan was like a couple $100,000, and it really wasn't like they were going to run out very quickly. Is what I'm saying, and then they were going to be back at square one.
Well, then Rodney dies. Rodney
dies in a ziplining accident in Costa Rica.
But here's the thing, though. It's bizarre because I think the only two people who would try to fake their death are desperate morons like Rodney and his wife, and then ultra rich people who want to like escape the limelight, like what was McAfee? Like that guy. Like I could see somebody like him trying to fake his own death because didn't he go to Bahrain and then ended up like in some sort of weird murder mystery where he had to bury himself in the sand and like claw his way back to the States? John McAfee, the guy who invented look his story up. That's a fucking movie that needs to be made. But no, I think if you're ultra rich, you'd want to fake your death so you could escape like the cameras. And then if you're fucking stupid dirt poor and you have bills to pay, that would also be the way to go. But I feel like the stupid dirt poor one, they would find you. One, because you're not smart enough.
Yeah.
And two, there's bill collectors, and bill collectors will find a way to get their cash, whether you're dead or alive. So it doesn't matter if you fake your own death.
I'm sure.
Oh, he's the antivirus guy. That's crazy.
Who?
Sorry.
John McAfee?
Yeah, John McAfee.
Antivirus?
Yeah, it's that McAfee, you know.
Yeah.
The antivirus.
Dude, he got involved with like South American like drug lords, then like corrupt cops like stormed his beach house, and he ended up burying himself in the sand while they broke in with like high-end weaponry trying to fucking find and kill him.
Look, man, I'm just saying, as a son of a nation south of Mexico, they don't fuck around down there, and most of the time it's with machetes. So take from that what you will, but yeah, it's a little crazy down there. I'm gonna have to read up on this. Thank you.
I'm assuming that
you're welcome.
The Rodney Wheelers of the world didn't anticipate machetes and things like that. But even still, I mean, it's a small town. What are they going to bar themselves in the house for 2 years and hope that no relatives, or are they going to have like a powwow amongst the Wheeler family and extended family and be like, all right, look, was it Jamie or Jennifer?
Julie.
I did. Julie's dead. All right, everyone, don't talk about Julie. And that's that. Or I mean, perhaps. I mean, we could only theorize as to the extent of the conspiracy of the Julie Wheeler death. But I don't know. I just like the brain trust of a Rodney Wheeler. I think only goes beyond Algebra 2 in 7th grade.
Yeah, I feel like you could pull it off if you lived in West Virginia. It's a rural state. Like you said, I think if she just started going by a different name and just, I mean, she's not the one you send out for groceries on a weekly basis. She just kind of hangs out, in the backyard. All of a sudden, you're debt free. You just got, like Alan said, like $100,000. That's like that's $1 million West Virginia money.
Yeah,
now you can live off that for the rest of your days. You just got to get away with it. Thing is there's always going to be some fucking chain smoking private eye hanging out with binoculars. You see, dude, when Dateline NBC was like on top of the world, like that's the kind of shit you lived for. Like Rodney Wheeler said he got hurt at work, but here he is playing volleyball at the backyard beach bash.
There's always something fucking ridiculous. Like,
And then it'd be like the shaky cam. Hey, Rodney, he's got his fucking neck brace on. Yeah, can I help you? Is this you playing beach volleyball? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You need to get the fuck out of here. And all of a sudden, like, Rodney becomes fucking Jet Li.
Rodney becomes Jet Li. Bobby Heenan used to wear a neck brace a lot when he was a manager to like keep opposing face wrestlers from attacking him because he was so fucking mouthy. I always thought that was humorous. Well, best of luck to Rodney and Julie Wheeler. We'll keep up with you if you guys want to get on the middle class holes. We'll hook it up. Alan, do you think our PR department could reach out to the Wheelers?
Yeah, we could probably get them on. We just probably need to send them up some smokes.
Yeah, it's a couple of things of Pall Malls.
A couple of, I think she's a Virginia Slims lady, but either way.
West Virginia Slims.
Oh.
Zing. All right, Murray, you had posted this the other day. Denver man dabbles with magic mushrooms, but using them to treat mental health disorders remains underground. It's like a Tuskegee experiment. Do you have any information on this? It's
not at all.
Yeah,
no,
100%.
No,
that's the way I read into it, so that's the way it's going to stick.
Well, the story reads like this. Nearly 2 years after Denver made history as the nation's first city to decriminalize hallucinogenic mushrooms for personal use, the nightmare of a rampant abuse and public intoxication fears by opponents has failed to materialize. Now, people are actually going to therapy and sitting down, eating a big old fistful of magic mushrooms and talking out their issues. Mushrooms proponents see the absence of backlash as a key selling point to push their eventual legalization of psilocybin, the active ingredient. A growing body of medical researchers suggests that psilocybin and other psychedelic drugs could treat anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and addiction. And this thing goes on and on and on and on. But therapists are now risking losing their license by treating patients with psychedelics and talking through their issues. I kind of see this as, I think the reason I find this pretty interesting, I almost feel like we're kind of turning back the clock. It's like, the 60s and 70s, they got rid of all these drugs because they didn't understand them. And now it's like flipping the switch. Oh, wait, now we understand them. So let's start using them, but let's start using them for real. And I don't know, would this entice people who wouldn't be apt to go to therapy because now they can go, I don't want to say trip balls, but be in that environment where they can dabble and use and then come out with something on the other side.
Well, you shouldn't want to go to therapy because you can do drugs. I get what you're saying, but you should initially the thought, and at least in my opinion, the idea to go to therapy is to receive help. You have some sort of mental block or just something on your chest, mental, psyche, etc., that you need to get off, and you need to talk to someone who's unbiased, someone not a family member, friend, someone who you can basically spill all the beans to. So no, you shouldn't be like, all right, yeah, I feel a little bit of anxiety, so I'm going to go get a free dose of mushrooms. That way I can get my fix. But I see what you're saying, at least in part.
Well, I guess, okay, I definitely am not framing it correctly, but I guess the point would be as far as therapy goes, there's a lot of folks that they go to therapy and they go week to week to week to week, and there's limited progression in what they're getting out of it because they've got their roadblocks up. Mm-hmm. But all of a sudden you go in, I'm sorry, there's not very many people out there that can hide. There's no roadblocks on a acid trip. Yeah. It's just the open road is flowing in. And I do feel like if you went to a therapist and you were on mushrooms, I feel like your session, your 8-hour session would be much more productive in one sitting than 8 to 20 weeks just going and sitting down stone cold sober.
Before Alan dives in, I will say, in my personal opinion, every human being should eat a little bit. I'm not saying a lot, a teeny tiny dosage, a small amount to broaden your horizons, and then you can decide whether or not you like it or don't like it, and voila. Therapy aside. Then, Alan, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see an issue with it. There is a lot of research, like Mer touched on, in the 60s and into the 70s, where
The Tuskegee experiments.
no, Jesus Christ, no, nothing like that. But yeah, no, well, a little like that, but not really. Not as egregious. So, but yes, people even back then said the same thing, that they experienced, less anxiety, less stress, if they were depressed, alleviation of those symptoms, doing especially LSD, but mushrooms as well. LSD, there's a shit ton of fucking research, all dates back from like the 60s, that says a surprisingly lot of good things about it in a therapeutic sense, but the war on drugs and such. So fucking it really got pushed to the side. But I think we're coming, like Mer said, we're coming back around, and people are starting to use this. Now you obviously have to gauge this, like, we can't be having, I think if you're going to couple it with therapy, you probably have to see this therapist a couple times before they could take you on the fucking mushroom trip.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like I think that might be like a good way to kind of regulate it, at least medicinally. But also I feel like you should just be able to sell people mushrooms.
Yeah, but on the opposite end, you're also going to have a therapist who's licensed to prescribe. Can you prescribe something like that?
But I mean, also, but likewise, they do that with weed, and you basically, like, nowadays in COVID, you could just call up and say, "Hey, man, I'm fucking anxious about this COVID," and they're like, "Cool, smoke this weed. Here you go. Here's your card. It'll be in the mail."
All right, let's be real. Marijuana and mushrooms are fucking. I'm going to refer to Jules and Vin from fucking Pulp Fiction. It's like, they ain't even in the same ballpark. They ain't even the same fucking sport.
That's fair. No, and I agree. But I think they have, if you're going to treat them similarly with regards to therapeutic use, you obviously have to put some kind of guideline on it.
Okay.
So yeah, I think like Tamer's point was, if you can't just be having people being like, well, feeling a little blue today, gonna go visit Doc, and then just trip balls for 8 hours. You can't. That seems detrimental. You probably have to do something constructive with it. So
Doc, you got you got an eighth and a peanut butter sandwich?
Yeah, right.
Okay, all right, let's talk. Let's figure this out.
Well, sprinkle them on a small cheese, and we'll be good to go.
I just think that, okay, this is kind of a way, I think, for like middle-aged folks to finally go do a hardcore trip in the right setting. Like, as you get older, like in the stresses of life, the all the responsibilities you have, it's kind of hard to carve out like an 8-hour day where you can sit down and like try to fix yourself. And then, do you know how to fix yourself? Whether you have a good trip or a bad trip, you're learning something about yourself. And to have a licensed professional who's able to guide you through the steps that you might need to be taking to understand. I don't know. I think this is a good idea all around. I just do. I've seen some documentaries about what they've been doing down at Johns Hopkins with this stuff, and people are like fixing themselves in like 1 or 2 sessions because they can't bullshit, because their brain won't allow them. The psilocybin will not allow like the roadblocks of mental bullshit to pop up and get in the way of the therapy session.
I understand what you're saying about it. Like they can't bullshit their way out of certain things. I don't think a full blown trip, meaning like a mass amount of psychedelic mushrooms in a setting to where then it's therapeutic. I just like. You have to dial that back to a dosage that to where you can still be relatively cognizant and still receive therapy. Because once the point you're quote unquote tripping balls, Is that even therapy?
Well, I mean, I would say, yeah, probably. It's a lot like maybe interpreting dreams. You know what I mean? You'd have to have like a therapist kind of get used to interpreting, knowing you. That's why I said I think you have to have therapy with them, like actual therapy with them before you get the trip with them, so that they kind of understand you and what, do you have mommy issues? Maybe that's why the leprechaun is going into the tree. Like, you know what I mean? Just things like that. They got to read the symbolism. But no, I think it like Mur said, it lets down some of the mental blocks that are subconscious. Like you don't really notice it or you can't help it. Which would allow people to, I think a therapist to get in there and really start touching some brain holes. But yeah, you can't be tripping. You can't like.
I think that's my point. Like, what? Like, can you find that sweet spot between really fucking getting at it and just microdose? Somewhere between there where you're cognizant, you're lucid, but at the same time your inhibitions have gone out the window and you're not drunk.
You gotta get a dose for like 4 hours or something, or like, whatever that is, 2 hours. But you can't be feeding people shit and taking them out for a day. Like therapy can't last a work day. That's just not okay.
We're gonna take you on one of these duck paddle boats in the inner harbor. Try to get to the bottom of your.
No outdoors stuff. That's dangerous.
Yeah, but I think from what I've seen, they get you, they lay you down on a couch, and then some soothing woman like holds your hand, and then just like talks to you and guides you through and tells you what you want to do instead of like, I don't know, man. I feel like at least from anybody that we know that has ever taken mushrooms or acid or anything like that has decided that. I don't know how much to take. I'll just take this much. And then they decide they're going to go to like an outdoor festival where like the music fucking like gets to them. Then all of a sudden they get bumped into by Rodney Wheeler and his wife who's trying to plan their fucking departure from the fucking steely bonds of bankruptcy. And they get into a fucking fight in a mud pit and their fucking pupils are the size of golf balls and they don't know what the fuck's happening. And then they walk away with a bad experience and they're more damaged than they were when they went into the scenario. Where in this situation, again, your grandmother is talking you through a field of daffodils and you're in the comfort of a nice fucking lazy boy. I think there's a difference and you could probably, I would guess you get a little more out of the lazy boy treatment than the Firefly session where you're fighting a guy with a fucking spiked collar on.
I don't know. The spike collar thing sometimes is a lot of fun, depending upon where you're at. If you're not trying to seek therapy,
it's probably like the intensive therapy. You know what I mean? Like when lots of things haven't worked. Just gotta kick it up a notch.
We're gonna break out spike chain guy. We're gonna get the gimp. We're gonna get to the bottom, the root cause of your stuff. I'll see. One of our listeners, his wife is a therapist. I'll see if she can prescribe, and we'll go from there. Let us know. All right, Mr. Murr, I think it's time for a little something we like to call Fun Fact Friday.
That's right, my friends. It is time for 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday, being brought to you, of course, by the Shin Splints Recovery Group. You can find them online on Facebook if you got any pain below the knee and above the ankle and you're looking for an international group to help you, maybe some therapeutic responses for your physical ailment. You can find them online at the fucking Shin Splints Recovery Group. Let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on your Fun Fact Friday. Did you know freerice.com is a charity website that quizzes you and donates 10 grains of rice to the World Food Program each time you get a correct answer. Every question pertains to word definitions, so you get to play a game, keep your mind sharp, and help feed the hungry all at the same time. Unless you're a stupid fuck, then small kids in Ethiopia starve to death, you dumb motherfucker.
Sounds like a stupid game. I don't care. Go next. What's next? Wait, what's it called?
It's called, I'm going to try this actually when we're done here, freerice.com. But 10 grains of rice? What kind of stingy assholes are they?
That's and the grains of rice are predicated off of my correct or incorrect answers.
Yes. So if you get the answer incorrect, that is 10 less grains of rice. Going to a small starving child.
Do they take 10 grains away, or do they just not give them?
I would like to think in my mind that they steal 10 grains away.
That's what I would feel like. Right?
So,
Like, nope, let's take that back.
Some kids ready to like.
And like it's a running tally. It's not even just for you. Like if like there's a total deficit, they literally go and smack rice out of people's hands.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tuck.
Hey, do you know the what
people got the answers wrong? I go, what can I tell you?
Do you know the American deficit that's at in New York?
Yep.
It's a grain deficit. right there. Just keeps a running tally.
Just being the special unit that goes around slapping people's rice out of their hands, pulling rice bags out of people's huts and fucking like slashing them open and dumping them into rivers. Be like, there's your rice.
You mean my dream job?
You don't even count it. Like you're only supposed to confiscate 30 grains. You just say, fuck it.
I feel bad about my illiterate ass somehow hanging someone's diet and their balance. I feel my soul hurts a little bit with that one.
So we haven't tried this yet, right? Because what are the questions like? Are they easy? I would assume they're easy.
I would think, but I don't know. It says each question pertains to word definitions. So like Wes said, if you're an illiterate fuck, how guilty would you feel like if there's like 10 questions and you get like 8 of them wrong? There's 30 grains of rice. How many grains of rice are in a mouthful? Like 30?
Yeah, ish. I don't know.
Probably.
To some first world dick like myself, yeah.
30 and 50, I think. Depends on the size of your fork and or spoon.
You don't fucking know.
I'm just guessing. Rice expands, man.
What if I get 10 out of 10? Can I bank that up to like a pork loin? Like stock, stock.
No, I don't think the next step after you get 10 right is fucking 10 grains of rice, pork loin. I don't think that's the next. I think maybe there's like a step in between.
Oxtail, I don't know.
A cup of rice. maybe some vegetables. I think pork loin's later, man. That's like that's like the.
That's like
the millionaire question, $1 million question.
Final Jeopardy.
Yeah, and now you get a pork loin.
I would like this to be a televised show where there's a hungry kid sitting with a plate and you answer questions and they dip rice based on your answers.
What if they just it sits at a table and there's like a tube that just dispenses 10 grains of rice into a bowl? What if it pops out and he like frantically grabs at it?
And it's just some kid in a diaper just sitting there, mouth drooling, praying to God you don't get them wrong.
I would like to point out that we are going to hell. We are going to burn. We are going to get uncooked rice thrown at us as our ass sizzles on a fucking rock. All right.
With a full belly.
I was like, I think we need that one.
Did you know men crave steak and women crave chocolate because of American advertising? There are no biological reasons for either food to be gender specific. Studies have shown that women in outside countries don't report having any chocolate cravings, and men like or crave chocolate just as much.
Yeah.
It's all advertising.
We, hey, guess what, America? If you didn't realize it over the last 4 years, we just believe whatever. We believe whatever we see. The media's pretty good at it. So
I know that Dove bar commercials give me boners. You ever seen one of those?
No, it is just the. Is it just the swirling chocolates on the screen, like liquid chocolates?
And then it's usually the silhouette of a beautiful woman, like looking longingly at a vat of just like silky, smooth chocolate, ready to touch her succulent lips.
Wow, that's all it takes.
Oh yeah.
See, that was it, America.
So men crave red meat and women crave chocolate, based just off of advertising. Hey, listen, that's fine with me. That's a world I want to live in.
Yeah, like I was just watching an SVU episode, as a matter of fact, a little earlier this evening, and the precursor to the breakdown where the crime occurs. Some guy like calls a hooker and he takes her out to dinner because he wants the full experience, and he's eating a steak and he's like, "Is that all you want is a salad? You should eat a steak, girl. Like you should eat a steak. It's cold out here. You need to put some meat on your bones." And then he abducts her. So I mean, it's right there. Guys just eating meat before he's abducting a young girl.
Yeah,
on SBU, American culture.
You don't abduct on an empty stomach.
That's fair. He actually took the leftovers for his dog, which seemed very, very serial killery.
Was there rice involved? 10 grains, perhaps?
Only 10 grains. Yeah, he only got one answer right.
I did. No, just to point out. No, I didn't know that. But American advertising, that's fine with me. Yeah, man. I'll eat the red meat. My girl can eat the chocolate, and then we can make sensual love for 4 minutes at a time. Then we go to bed.
It's what's for dinner. You got like the and then with fucking what Sam Elliott fucking narrating the beef commercials, and then you've got fucking like silky seductive. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna go watch Dove Bar commercials on YouTube after we're done here.
Well, then like you give, you know what I mean, like Valentine's, you give chocolates.
Yeah.
Like, at all kinds of anniversaries, you just give them candies, like. And like, where do you think that all came from? We know that instinctively. We're just like, just give them chocolates. Yeah. We should definitely give them chocolates. They're not going to complain about that shit,
right?
And we're right.
And if she don't eat them, then I'm going to eat them after I eat my steak.
Eat them anyway. Yes.
After I eat my steak.
Dude, I have been sitting up at night, and I've never done this before, but because now I have a kid and we're doing the Easter basket stuff. Like, I've been eating the Reese's peanut butter eggs. Like, they're like a meal.
It's a problem.
It is a problem. Yeah. They are the best. They're the best. I don't know what Reese's is doing, like not selling these things as an item all of the time.
I mean, they
like
do.
Repackaging them.
Shape.
I guess,
a tree or a pumpkin or a fucking, like, they're literally every shape for the season. They're just, some are more superior to others. The eggs is a good ratio. The pumpkins a little too thick, a little too much peanut butter, in my opinion. That's just me.
Yeah. With this most recent batch that I've gotten this year, it's weird. It's almost as if at 38, I've eaten so many thousands of them that I need to entertain myself in a new way. And I did one where I basically just I let it sit in my mouth and sucked it rather than bit it, and it was about like 4 minutes of fucking glory. It's like, oh my god, like the peanut butter dissipated and withered away the enamel that the vomit from the wedding that didn't. Oh man,
Kelly got me the other day because I opened one up and I basically strip mined it. Like off the top, like shaved the top of the top of the egg off, like the dome. I was like, "Was there coal under this Appalachian mountain? Take it. I'm gonna go and strip that right off." She's like, "What are you doing?" Nothing. Just
I too have been experimenting on how to eat the egg properly. Here's what I did. I didn't quite go as far as you, Wes, but what I did is I put it in and then I waited for it to kind of soften. And then I didn't bite it with my teeth at all. I took my tongue and I just kept mashing it against the roof of my mouth. Dispersing all of the flavor. And it just like almost like sucking it down like a paste.
You know what I found with doing, because I've done that before, is that there's more taste buds that That's something I didn't know about when I was a kid. All I wanted to do was just jam it in there. Now I'm savoring the flavor. Yeah.
Taste buds in my cheeks.
God, who would have thunk it? I don't know.
They are delicious. And we also got Rebs. I don't. Do you guys know about Rebs?
Oh.
You probably do not.
Rebs?
No,
No, I'm not familiar
Wes,
with
you've
this.
been in Baltimore long enough. You should know about Rebs. Rebs is over, like right by St. Agnes Hospital. But it's been, I don't know. It's been there since like fucking 1800 or something. No, like the early 1900s. But they're local chocolatiers. And their shit is delicious. I said something to Kelly the other day because we get it for like major holiday, well, like Easter. Like her dad got it for his two daughters and his wife, and would always get himself a box, and then just added me to the list when I married into the family. So I get this box of chocolate on like Valentine's Day and Easter and Christmas and shit like that. And yeah, it's incredible. You should absolutely go do that. You should absolutely go do that. Like buy Sarah some Rebs, and she'll be like, "Girl, you could have whatever you like."
You could have 4 minutes of missionary fornication.
She's from around the way, so she will know what some Rebs is.
Right.
But yeah, I made the comment the other day. I was eating it's like a cashew cluster with some caramel, but I got dark chocolate and milk chocolate, and I was like, Kelly, you know what? I'm fairly certain that Rebs' milk chocolate is 85% butter, and the rest is actual chocolate, because it is so fucking velvety and delicious. Like, I've never had milk chocolate that delicious.
REBS?
No, RHEBS.
All right. I'll dial it up. I'll get it.
Yeah, and like sometimes there's a line. You gotta you can order online. I don't know how COVID protocols are working, but you gotta check that out. Yeah, okay. Their English toffee, top notch. Jimmy Truffles, that's like the thing because Baltimore.
Ooh, I see it now. Homemade candies.
I have to reread this. Men crave steak and women crave chocolate. Did you know NASA intoxicated spiders with different drugs to see if they could still build an effective web? All of the drugs reduced web regularity except for small doses of LSD, which actually increased it.
Okay, I didn't know that, but what would be the purpose of NASA trying to figure out spiking spiders full of different drugs to see whether or not they could build webs? Walk me through that one.
Because there's a specific geometry to a spider's web, and there is a specific instinct to that geometry because you're building the web to catch food. Like, that's the only purpose of the web.
Yeah.
And then if you fuck them up on drugs, it's like you're fucking with their instinct.
Okay.
And what they found is they started making more creative webs that were also still functional while on LSD. So they would create different patterns, but they still produce the same results when catching their food.
Yeah, but
so it was almost.
I get that, but what's the? How does that translate? I mean, to being an astronaut, like your instinct to be an astronaut, to fly a device, to land on the moon, to be instinctual as an astronaut.
Because there's probably like some fucking like special fucking webbing that they made out of titanium based on the LSD spider web, and that thing holds the entire fucking rover lander, and it only weighs like 6 ounces. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of shit that NASA be doing.
Or Uncle Sam said, "Hey, NASA, we got like $600 million and some drugs and some spiders. You want them?"
Basically.
Crazy.
I'm going to go with the latter.
Could have been better off like South Park with put in a 4-assed monkey, just to see what would happen. I mean, I think no, I didn't know that. I'm trying to decipher the purpose. That's all.
Just to see the effects, like just to see the effects of drugs. Like, do they reduce the functionality of? You got to remember, a spider's not really a high level creature.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's got 2 instincts. Catch stuff, eat it.
I was like,
So
I'm
if you-
certain spiders are very high level creatures. We just don't think they are.
Right. And fuck.
And
Spider
Or-
style.
Like, I'm fairly certain they are very intelligent.
Yeah.
They're just,
You
fucking
ever,
insane.
you ever seen Charlotte's
Look at this
Web?
fucking thing.
You ever seen Charlotte's Web? That
Right?
Charlotte is very intelligent. So you said that
Based on a true story.
at the Wheeler farm. Did you say that that the web design or whatever, the effectiveness of the web wasn't affected on LSD?
correct. Like
Okay.
they would design it differently, but the functionality was still there. But like when they just got them high, there was like lazy ass shit.
Okay.
Like, there's
So, but
type in spiders on drugs. If you just type that into like a Bing image search,
Yeah.
they'll have the different effects of it, and you can see like some of them are just like the pot spiders, just like it's just like a circle with like 4 lines. Like, good enough. And they-
I'm glad you're still holding true with Bing. That's very nice. But it's okay. So by your logic, or by the logic of what you're describing, is that astronauts should take LSD?
Okay, you're really, really getting stuck on NASA only doing space stuff all the time. They're just simply they have a science research department inside that does other shit that's not necessarily space.
All right, fair enough. I'm sorry. My bad. God.
Any other questions?
Well, I live with a dog that could probably use some LSD. Think I could hit up NASA?
Yeah, they'll put them in space.
God,
Dose them all and fucking
I hope so.
feed them some mushrooms.
I hope so.
Did you know there are sharks that can survive in fresh water? Scientists once thought that the freshwater sharks in Lake Nicaragua were their own species, but it turned out that they were just bull sharks that had adapted to living in freshwater by urinating 20 times more than saltwater sharks.
Well, obviously they're not Amazon drivers, but Alan, as a Nicaraguan, I guess, descendant or native, do you have any definitive, I guess, some sort of yes or no opinion about bull sharks pissing in your native lake?
I mean, I did not know that the pissing was what kept them alive. That seems weird. I don't know how sharks work. I'm not a shark scientist.
We are more of a duck-billed platypus folk around here at the Middle Castles.
More of a land sea oddities kind of expert. Not really sharks. But my dad used to tell me this shit all the time. He's like he's kind of like me. I fucking hate spiders. I don't like them at all. But I'm fascinated by them. And my dad was similar. He's like terrified of sharks. Like Jaws fucks him up. And he won't, he doesn't go to beaches. But he's totally fascinated by them. Loves studying them and shit. And he used to tell me this shit all the time. He was like, yeah. I think one of the only places in the world at the time, and then I think they found some other kind of shark that did the same thing somewhere else. But he has told me he has seen them. He saw them when he was younger. He had friends and family that fished there and saw them. So yeah, corroborated.
Yeah, I've heard stories about sharks getting up into the Chesapeake Bay. Now I know that part of it's brackish. Now yes. I don't know the extent of where salt meets. I know further up in the Chesapeake Bay, it gets a little less salty. But I've heard stories of sharks swimming up in there. So are all is the idea that all sharks are saltwater creatures?
Yeah, primarily.
Yeah,
I think that's why the pissing comes into play, because it has to do with filtering the water. So they piss more because they're filtering. They have to filter more. I'm not a sharkologist, so I don't know all these. I do know bull sharks. They do this because there's something. They found a bull shark. I want to say in it's somewhere like really high up the Mississippi River. Like they're like bull sharks, like really north in the Mississippi. And like, how the fuck did that happen? Just sharks are dinosaurs, and they're gonna be here when we're not.
Yep.
Yeah,
Maybe it's like alligators.
But no, like I think the bull sharks, especially too, they get to explore and get like super aggressive. They are like the aggressive ones. I think they account for more of like human shark attacks than any other species.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get super aggressive, and like if they're looking for food and shit, because I guess they can adapt and exist in fresh water, will just go on journeys. For no reason. And
they ought to go up that far into the Mississippi River because those flying carp are now they're all over the place. Get a couple bull sharks up there and fucking, you know about those carp?
No, I do not.
Look up a video.
If you they jump on the engine sound. And they have totally land-based chunks of the lower Mississippi. Get a couple bull sharks up there. Eat all of them. Ugh, God, carp suck.
But then you're gonna get flying bull sharks. Is that what you want? That's how Sharknado starts.
That's how you get flying bull sharks. That's not what you want.
Made it with a Shih Tzu. I'll get flying bullshit.
I thought Jackass did something with that. Didn't they like tie somebody to a boat and then just put like fishnets on their hands or something?
God, I don't know. It makes
See
sense.
how many they could catch.
It makes sense.
And finally, did you know you burn fat when you breathe? When the body breaks down fat components during exercise, a portion of it turns into carbon dioxide and leaves your body through your lungs each time you exhale.
So I fart through my mouth?
Yes. Yes,
ready?
Wes.
I fart through my mouth?
Your mouth.
Damn. I'm going to start exercising more. Whew! No.
I don't need anybody on my 800-pound life to hear that fact, though. I've exercised now.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that anytime you do anything when you're not sleeping for the most part, you're burning calories. I mean, I was sitting here talking, moving, fucking getting crazy when you sons of bitches want to fucking fire me up, get me all raged up. I'm burning calories.
Yep. Even when you're sleeping.
Yeah. I mean, it's dialed back a lot.
It's yes, but you still are.
Yeah, you're burning calories.
Next time you you ever seen a fat coma patient stay fat? Nope, doesn't work that way. It's not how this goes.
Yeah, next time you freak out with Sarah in the car with you, just scream, "I'm exercising!" Just scream you're exercising.
I'll do that. So I breathe, I burn calories, and end of life, right?
It's kind of how it works. It's
and that is your Fun Fact Friday.
Alan, where can we find us? Where can we find us? Myself.
Somewhere on the internet, I think.
We might be the only ones looking.
Everyone's found us at this point. You can find us on all your favorite social media sites. We are at MDL Classholes on Instagram and Twitter. Just the Middle Classholes on Facebook. And we are also streaming on your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. I almost said iTunes again. So I figured I'd bring it up.
That's all right. Potato.
And what's the email address?
Hold on. I have no.
Get it up there. Did you make a sign? You should have made a sign.
It's MLDCLSSHOLES@gmail.com.
Yeah, it's never not funny.
I think. And I almost think this is wrong. I might be MDL. I'll double check this one.
MDL. Why did you typo it? Wait, is the typo on the card or is the typo the email?
You know what? We're going to get to the bottom of this right this second.
I think the typo's on the cards.
I think so.
But That makes it even funnier.
Yeah, hold on. Let me verify this real
Jesus.
quick. MDL.
Oh God.
Yeah, the typo was on the card. So the first like 100 people that got this business card that had just the spelled out stuff. Yeah, if you tried to email us, you got the wrong one. It's mdlclsssholes@gmail.com. It's MDL Classholes without the A. Gmail handcuffed us on that one. I don't know. I felt guilty about trying to go to Hotmail or Yahoo. So I didn't.
We immediately lose credibility if we put a Hotmail account on a business. Oh no!
Yeah. What are we supposed to do? Sorry.
Good stuff.
What's that?
All right, Murr, how's your back feeling?
A little tight. We'll be all right.
All right. The O's lost the opener. Did you guys watch that today?
No, I did not. I was busy.
Yeah, they lost it to the Red Sox. That's okay. All right, baseball's back
I was
in
just
town.
all salty that I wasn't there. That's really all it was.
Yeah. I even thought about that today. This is the first home opener or non-opening day game that I haven't been to since 2009. Not opening not considering last season. So,
And that probably means it's the first time me and you haven't hung out like in physical person form since 2009 on this day.
yeah, I know. Oh, around this time. Christ.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Crazy.
Well, is what it is. Changing times. All right, folks. If you want to email us, listen. If you get a kickback, don't worry.
If you want to email us, just fucking try it. Just see how it goes.
There may be another.
Type in some letters.
There may be another
at gmail.com.
There may be another group for the for some things of the world. All right. Good night.